Хотелось бы напомнить, что в результате развала Советского Союза
as a result of the collapse of Soviet Union,
на территории бывшего Советского Союза,
on the territory of the former Soviet Union,
к сожалению, произошли ряд кровавых конфликтов.
unfortunately, a number of bloody conflicts happened.
К сожалению, люди вынуждены были массово мигрировать.
Unfortunately, people had to migrate en masse.
К сожалению, была развязана братоубийственная война в некоторых регионах.
Fraternal wars were unleashed in certain regions of the former Soviet Union. And you can imagine how people lived during these bloody conflicts after the collapse of the Soviet Union, including the territory here, the Transnistria.
Поэтому развал Советского Союза лично для меня это не праздник.
So collapse of the Soviet Union is for me no joyful day, no holiday. And we see the consequences of the collapse of the Soviet Union also here on the territory of Transnistria. Transnistria as a state was formed as a consequence of the collapse of the Soviet Union. And I believe that the formation of Transnistria was a kind of reply, a kind of reaction, response of the citizens living here. They wanted to be protected, they want some kind of protection, because they became overnight citizens of a different state. Now, the citizens here, they want to restore the justice, restore the historical justice. They want to have the state they want to have.
И поэтому была развернута целая пропагандистская кампания по дискредитации Приднестровья.
So there was a whole propaganda campaign started against Transnistria. There were accusations made loud from Moldova about this territory as a place for illegal arms trade and production, illegal human trafficking, and illegal financial flows which are flowing through this territory. And to make sure the facts are true or not, as you know, the EU BAM European mission was deployed at the border between Transnistria and Ukraine here. This mission has not found as yet just one proof of those accusations which were launched against us. So I must say now that the truth is that peaceful citizens live in this country, citizens who don't want to create problems with their neighbors. They want good neighborly relations with their neighbors. They don't want they don't want to threaten anybody. They don't want to produce arms to support some kind of terrorists. And they want to live peacefully, work peacefully, and educate their children.
Тянут ко дну боль и грусть, прежних ошибок грусть. Но мой плод, свитый из песен и слов, всем моим бедам назло, вовсе не так плод, мой маленький плод, свитый из песен и слов, всем моим бедам назло, вовсе не так плохо.
The Transnistrian problem is not an ethnical problem, it's not a, let's say, religious problem. We don't have such conflicts between Transnistria and the rest of Moldova. But the Transnistrian conflict, Transnistrian issue, is a geopolitical issue. And we have here not only Russian interests, but also the interests of the United States, European Union. And as long as the interests, this very important player will not agree on the future of this conflict, how to solve it, of course, Moldovans will not be able to do this by them own. So.
Russian interest, very simple. Moldova is unimportant as a country. It's a small country. It doesn't have resources, but it's very conveniently located on the border of the EU and NATO. And it's Russia's yard. It's psychological. So Moldova, it's their former backyard, which they don't want to give up for psychological reasons, but also for reasons of geopolitics. Because if you look at the situation of Moldova, it provides one more incentive to pressure a bit on the Ukrainian side, to create them more problems on that part of the border, to influence the economic situation in the Odessa region, which is very much pro-Russian oriented, to actually have something to negotiate with the European Union and the US when we speak about energy resources and stability in the area. And here we have the EU and US interests, South Stream, Nabucco, stability in the area, the flight corridor to the Middle East, and so on.
This conflict has been since the collapse of the Soviet Union. There should be good, balanced agreements that can fit the population of Moldova, including the Transnistrian region, but also the surrounding international interests. We have a few basic principles that we will communicate. One basic principle is, of course, the fundamental one is the territorial integrity and inviolability of the territorial integrity of the Republic of Moldova. The other important principle is generosity on the Moldovan side when it comes to the content of Transnistrian autonomy special status. The third important principle is building confidence between the two parts of the country.
We'll recognize only one way for the settlement of the problem. I mean here the peaceful way of negotiations. We are completely against the military way of settling that problem categorically. We hope that EU will play more and more important role in the frame of that form of negotiations. It is, I believe, absolutely needed. Also, we should not forget the important role of the Russian Federation having a direct and very strong influence in that zone, I mean in Transnistrian region. That means a close and continuous dialogue with that partner of the Republic of Moldova, includingly in the frame of Transnistrian dispute settlement. Transformation of the existing peacekeeping forces format into another one. I mean here an international mission of observers, or mission of observers under an international mandate, demilitarization of that zone, because I was absolutely convinced there is no way to speak about a possible threat, from Chisinau towards Tiraspol or the vice versa in military sense. This is why the demilitarization is an important principle.